Hey, hello, good evening, everyone. Very good evening once again. Okay, I think the voice is clear. Let me check once and इसके बाद हम session start करते हैं for today. Yeah, it's clear. Okay. So voice is clear and live. We are live as well. So let us get started, everyone, with today's session. So basically, हम लोग good evening, Sumit. So let us get started. आज हम लोग जीके के सेशन में प्रैक्टिस करने वाले हैं क्वेश्चंस that are mainly going to be associated with plants. अगर आप सिलेबस देखोगे सैनिक स्कूल एंट्रेंस एग्जाम का तो एक पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक आपको मेंशन्ड है that says that there has to study the relation between plants and animals. एंड इसके साथ अगर आप 2023 सैनिक स्कूल एंट्रेंस एग्जाम का क्वेश्चन पेपर देखते हो तो उसमें एक क्वेश्चन आपको डायरेक्टली एज इट इज प्लांट से आया हुआ है. सो टुडे इन दिस क्लास वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस फ्यू इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम द प्लांट्स, क्योंकि प्लांट्स के लिए जब हम डिस्कस करते हैं सो इट इज लाइक अ वेरी ह्यूज पार्ट जो आपको पहले स्टडी करना पड़ता है. देन यू हैव टू प्रैक्टिस द क्वेश्चंस. ओके, सो पूरा तो हम नहीं कवर कर पाएंगे डेफिनेटली आज, बट वी विल ट्राई टू कवर मोस्ट ऑफ इट. मोस्ट जो इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस होंगे प्लांट से that we will try to cover. Good morning, good evening, Preeti, not good morning, good evening. Okay, so let us get started with the today's session. Before starting, everyone, welcome to the YouTube channel of Knowell Bell. I am Akshata, your that and I help you in your Sainik School, Rashtriya Military School entrance exam preparations. डेली हमारी 8:30 PM पे YouTube पे लाइव क्लास होती है, इसमें आप कनेक्ट हो सकते हो. गुड इवनिंग साकिब, एंड we can prepare for Sainik School, RMS, RIMC, GK mainly. We can prepare. Okay, so let us get started now. Before starting the class, a lot of you were asking कि हम लोग preparation courses भी run करते हैं क्या Knowell Bell में separately. So yes, everyone, we do have preparation courses for Sainik School as well as Rashtriya Military School entrance exam. Mainly for class 6, we do have preparation courses. Preparation courses पे आप हमसे connect हो सकते हो on the number that you can see over here. And in all the live interactive classes, you can get to interact with me. And उसके बाद आप पूरे जो doubts थे अपनी classes में ही resolve कर सकते हो. We have daily classes. इसके साथ साथ जो study material आपको required रहता है for your preparation, this we ship at your postal address without any extra cost. Separate हमारे doubt clearing sessions होते हैं. Every Saturday we have got tests, so that आपके जो preparation है, test series जो आपको required रहती है, that you get from the beginning. So information for any of these you can get through the number. You can contact on the number 8305103918. Okay, now let us get started with the today's session. First question, everyone, we have on our screen is that which among the following organ is also called as food factories of the plant? तो आप लोग answers provide कर सकते हो in the chat that which of the following organ is also called as food factories of the plant. सबसे पहले बहुत ही quickly Sumit has provided the answer as A. And that is actually the correct answer. So this is a very important question. It does seem very simple at the surface, but एक बहुत ही important question है. Question आपसे कह रहा है which of the following is called food factories of the plant? So answer है इसके लिए leaves. We are calling leaves as the food factories of the plant. Why are we calling leaves as food factories? Food factories का क्या meaning होता है? Factory. Factory means where you produce something in bulk. आप किसी भी location पे कोई चीज जो बहुत ही हायर अमाउंट में प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हो या मेकिंग समथिंग इन बल्क, दैट इज वेयर वी कॉल फैक्ट्री. तो हम प्लांट की फूड फैक्ट्रीज कह रहे हैं लीव्स को, बिकॉज लीव्स आर रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर synthesis of food in plant. Okay, leaves are responsible for synthesis of food in plants. And due to this very reason, हम क्या कह रहे हैं? हम कह रहे हैं that हमारी जो leaves हैं, they are the food factories of the plant. Now, if we are talking about food, so food is prepared in which form in plant? This becomes very important. Like we are taking our food. We might take food in the form of chapati, in the form of rice, or in the any other form. But in which form plants are synthesizing or producing their food? So it is mainly in the form of glucose. Glucose के form में plants food को synthesize करते हैं. What is a glucose? Glucose is a carbohydrate. Okay, when the components of food हम study करते हैं, there we get to know about carbohydrates. So what is a glucose? Glucose is a carbohydrate. Next question we have is which one among the following organisms can synthesize their own food? Plants, humans, dogs, or cats? which organism is responsible or which organism has the capability to synthesize their own food? All of you can provide the answers. Option A, we have plant, B, humans, C, dogs, or D, cats. So, A, everyone is providing the answer correct. Advik, Sumit, Shweta, very good. And the right answer we have for the question is A only. Now, you might say that humans also prepare their food, but humans plant based material होता है, using that humans produce the food. Okay, humans prepare the food using the plant based material. Plants are the only organisms. Okay, plants along with the few algae are the only organisms जो अपना food खुद synthesize कर सकते हैं. Plants are the only organisms that can synthesize their own food. Okay, so this you have to keep in mind. And once again, food is in which form? Food is in the form of your glucose. Okay. Next question we have, plants can synthesize their own food using. Now, this is again an important question. When plants synthesize their own food, what is that food? We already discussed that food is glucose. Now, in order to synthesize glucose, what are the requirements of the plants? Plants को क्या क्या required रखता है? Okay, Shweta has answered D. Good evening, Niyati. Sumit also answered D. Saket also answered D. That is correct. Very good. Okay, the right answer we have is D. Plants need all of these things: water, carbon dioxide, minerals. So basically, these are some of the requirements. But let us understand what are the complete requirements for what? The complete requirements for photosynthesis. What is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is a process जिसके थ्रू प्लांट्स क्या करते हैं, जिसके थ्रू प्लांट सिंथेसाइज करते हैं their own food. The process by which plants synthesize their own food is called as photosynthesis, right? What are the requirements for it? The requirement is water. Okay, chemically, water is called as H2O. The requirement is water. Additionally, plants also need as carbon dioxide. Plants को और क्या required रहता है? Plants also need carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide, chemically we call carbon dioxide as CO2. Chemical names भी आपको याद रखने हैं. Because examiners, all they want is to trick you. Okay, so you just keep in mind the chemical names as well. Third one they need is sunlight. We are calling it photosynthesis for a reason. Photosynthesis, photos response, photo here just stands for the sunlight. And essentially, what do we need? Along with water, हमको minerals भी required हैं. And one more thing is very vitally needed. That is chlorophyll, the green color pigment that you see in the plants. Why are plants green in color? हम कहते हैं plants are green in color due to chlorophyll. So chlorophyll बहुत important होता है. In the presence of chlorophyll only, photosynthesis can take place. So yes, the right answer we had for this question was all of these. Next is the mode of nutrition in which organisms make food for themselves from simple substances is called autotrophic, heterotrophic, saprotrophic, or lithotrophic. Go ahead. The mode of nutrition in which organisms make food for themselves from simple substances. What do we call such a mode? Okay, Aradhya has answered C. Sumit has answered A. Shweta has answered A. Good. Let us have a look. Saket has answered C. Why C, Saket? Right answer would be autotrophic. Okay. Now, mode of nutrition. Mode of nutrition means the mode by which we intake of food. Food to nahi humko कहना चाहिए. The mode by which we generally synthesize the food, the organisms, specifically if we are talking about plants. So, mode of nutrition. डिफरेंट डिफरेंट टाइप का होता है. ऑटोट्रॉफिक, हेटरोट्रॉफिक हम स्टडी करते हैं. नाउ रीड द क्वेश्चन केयरफुली. क्वेश्चन ही आपको आंसर बता रहा है. द मोड ऑफ न्यूट्रिशन इन विच ऑर्गेनिज्म कैन मेक food for themselves, for which they are making the food, they are making and preparing the food for themselves. Whenever an organism prepare a food for themselves, such an organism is called as autotroph. Okay, and the mode of nutrition is called as autotrophic mode of nutrition. Autotrophic mode of nutrition means the organism in this mode of nutrition is preparing the food for itself. Okay, what is happening? The organism is preparing the food for itself. At the same time, if we talk about heterotrophic mode of nutrition, so heterotrophic mode of nutrition means the organism depends for their food needs on any another organism. Saprotrophic mode of nutrition on dead and decaying matter. Okay, organism depends on dead and decaying matter for the mode of nutrition, for their nutrition. So such a mode of nutrition is called autotrophic. Question हमसे कह रहा था the mode of nutrition in which an organism can make food for themselves. Further कैसे? Using simple substances. Such a mode of nutrition is called as autotrophic mode of nutrition. Next question is, which organ of plant is responsible for absorption of water and minerals from the soil? Now, these questions look very simple at the surface. हमको लग रहा है that there is nothing in them, but the questions are very, very important. These are the fundamental questions which everyone should know. So everyone is providing the answer correctly. I don't believe much discussion is needed on that. Absorption किसका function होता है? Absorption of water and minerals from the soil is the function of root. If we talk about stem, स्टेम का फंक्शन क्या होता है? कंडक्शन ऑफ वाटर एंड मिनरल्स एंड फूड. तो स्टेम का फंक्शन है कंडक्शन. रूट्स absorb the water and minerals. Now the stem is going to conduct it to the other parts of the plant, like leaves need water. So stem is going to help in that. And conduction में भी आपके कौन से tissues दो responsible होते हैं? The two tissues that are responsible are xylem and phloem. Okay, xylem tissue and phloem tissue. Xylem is mainly responsible for the transport of water and minerals. Okay, transport of water and mineral takes place through the xylem tissue, and phloem tissue is responsible for the transport of food. Leaves में क्या हो रहा है? Leaves में photosynthesis हो रहा है. Okay, leaves में photosynthesis हो रहा है. So this you have to keep in mind. Next question we have is, name the scientific device that can be used in order to observe the cells. Now, you are preparing for Sainik school, you are preparing for RMS, or you are preparing for RIMC. साइंटिफिक डिवाइसेस इज लाइक अ फेवरेट टॉपिक ऑफ देम. हो ही नहीं सकता कि पेपर बन जाए, पेपर में साइंटिफिक डिवाइस ना आए. इस साल भी आपको सैनिक स्कूल में क्वेश्चन था बिफोर दिस ईयर. आरएमएस में तो नहीं आया, बट प्रीवियस ईयर्स में एवरी ईयर ऑलमोस्ट दे हैड क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम साइंटिफिक डिवाइसेस. आरआईएमसी में भी फेथोमीटर, बैरोमीटर, दे हैव आस्क्ड ऑल द साइंटिफिक डिवाइसेस. The right answer everyone is providing correctly. The right answer is microscope. Or scientific device that we use in order to observe the cells is called as microscope. So correct answer for the question is microscope. Next question is, leaves are green in color due to the presence of xanthophyll, carotenoid, nucleus, or chlorophyll. Just I think I just now told you the answer for this question. Okay. So leaves are green in color due to the presence of. What is the reason कि जो हमारे leaves होते हैं they are green in color? Everyone is answering correctly. Okay, what is chlorophyll? Chlorophyll is a green color pigment. What is chlorophyll? Chlorophyll is a green color pigment that is present in leaf, and that is essentially very, very required for photosynthesis. Next is chlorophyll helps the leaf to capture. Now chlorophyll तो present है leaves में, इसीलिए leaves green है. We got to know that. But why does that chlorophyll actually, you can say that why it is important for the leaves? What does chlorophyll helps the leaf to do? Does it helps to capture the solar energy? Does it helps to capture the tidal energy? Does it helps to capture the thermal energy or heat energy? A, everyone is answering. Sumit, Shweta, Sudiksha, Advait, Preeti. Correctly you are answering. Chlorophyll helps to capture which energy? Chlorophyll helps to capture solar energy. Solar energy क्या होती है? Energy from sun. What is solar energy? Solar energy is energy from sun. So we are basically saying in the process of photosynthesis आपको sunlight required है. Why? Sunlight से हमारे sun rays आ रहे हैं. That sun rays, okay, the sun rays contain what? The sun rays contain solar energy. And that solar energy is captured by leaves में क्या present है? What is present in the leaves? You can say chlorophyll. And chlorophyll is responsible for capturing the solar energy. Okay, so tidal energy is not the answer, not the thermal. Heat भी नहीं. Plants में जो chlorophyll है, that is mainly responsible for capturing the solar energy. Okay, next is blank is the ultimate source of energy for all living organisms. ये आप याद रखिएगा बिल्कुल. This you can say is the most important statement you will ever encounter. Okay, the most important statement you are ever going to encounter: plant, cell, electricity, or sun. Which of the following is the most important, sorry, more ultimate source of energy for all living organisms? Very good. The entire energy that comes, that is through the sun. So we can say sun is the ultimate source of energy for all living organisms. What is sun? Sun is the ultimate source of energy. How can we say this? I'll just give you two examples. For photosynthesis, हमको क्या required है? हमको required है energy. Where is that energy coming from? That energy is coming from sun. Similarly, we study about water cycle. In water cycle also, we need energy. Where is this energy coming from? The entire water cycle is surrounded around sun. So this entire energy is coming from sun. Okay, yes, Preeti, all these questions are important. Next is a question associated with assertion reason. If you will have a look at the Sainik School entrance exam paper of 2023, this year only. This year we had assertion reason question जो like पहली बार आपको provide किए गए थे in the exam. So we'll have to practice all sorts of questions. Now before going into it, what do we mean by assertion and reason? So assertion आप कह सकते हो. Assertion is a like a sentence is given to you, a statement is given to you, and एक रीजन आपको दिया होता है. नाउ विद द रीजन यू हैव टू टेल दैट जो रीजन है, क्या हमारा जो स्टेटमेंट या assertion है, एंड द रीजन, both of them are correct. If both of them are correct, is reason the correct explanation of statement? The same way, if both of them are correct, then is reason the correct explanation? Yes or no? These got two options. Correct, reason is correct. So these are the two options. These questions, they are very easy. Only thing that makes it difficult is that you have to give time to read them. इनको आपको time देना होता है. You have to read them very carefully. Options can be confusing क्योंकि आपकी practice नहीं है. That's why options can be confusing. So make sure you read them thoroughly. Okay. Everyone provided the answers also. So let us check. Survival of almost all living organisms directly or indirectly depends on plants. Okay, so different answers. Survival of almost all living organisms directly or indirectly depends on plants. If you look for this statement, is this statement true or no? If you look at it very prospectively, so this is a true statement. जितने भी organisms हैं in the world, उनका जो survival है वो directly या indirectly किस पे depend कर रहा है? How is that depending on plants? For example, uh, like if we take an example of cow generally feeds on grasses and other green vegetables and all the green things. So that is directly depending on green plants or plants for their survival. On the other hand, if you talk about us humans, we eat rice, we eat pulses, we eat wheat. What are they? They are all the plant source. If you talk about the non-veg food like meat, if you're talking about meat, or if you're talking about eggs, eggs comes from hen. Hen feeds on grain. Grain comes from plants. So that will be called the indirect dependency on plant. So this statement is correct. Okay. Survival of almost all living organisms, whether directly or indirectly, will depend on plants. Okay. And the reason number two is on Earth, plants are the only organisms that can synthesize the food. This is also true. We cannot synthesize our use करके अपना food बना सकते हैं, but we cannot synthesize the foods just like plants do. So this is also correct. Now we have to look at correct option. The first option देखिए, option D. Assertion is incorrect, reason is correct. ये तो गलत हो गया because both assertion and reason are correct. Then assertion is correct. This is also incorrect because both the assertion reasons are incorrect. Now, okay, my voice is unclear. Let's just now I hope it would be clear. Now it is clear. Let me check. Just quickly let me know. अभी voice clear है? It's clear. Okay. Now clear. Okay.
Yes, so this is incorrect. Now first one, if you look, both assertion and reason are correct. Reason is the correct explanation of assertion. तो हमारा यही right answer होगा. What will be the correct answer? Option A. That reason भी correct है, assertion भी correct है, और reason जो है that is actually the correct explanation of assertion. So with this, the right answer we will have for the question is option A. Okay. Next question is question number we don't have. Oxygen is produced by which process in plant? Again a very important question. By which process do plants produce oxygen? What is the name of process? Transpiration, respiration, circulation, or photosynthesis? Transpiration, Shweta? No, that is incorrect. Okay, the process by which oxygen is produced in plants is called as photosynthesis. Correct, Nibha. It is the process of photosynthesis by which oxygen is produced in the plants. What is transpiration? Transpiration तो हमारा loss of water है. Loss of water में कहीं पे भी oxygen produce नहीं होता. Only process in which oxygen is produced is photosynthesis. This is time when plants produce their food glucose, oxygen is produced as a byproduct in that process. Next one we have is this. Which organ is responsible to carry out photosynthesis in desert plants such as cactus? This is yet again an important question, that which organ is responsible to carry out photosynthesis in desert plants such as cactus. So desert plants, this is important thing given to you, and cactus is importantly given to you. Shweta has answered correctly. Apart from Shweta, no one has answered correctly in this question. So this question needed a little understanding. Have a look. Photosynthesis हम generally study करते हैं. It is a function of leaves. But when we are talking about desert plants, and that too in a desert plant, when we are specifically talking about cactus. So you have a look. What is happening in the cactus? In cactus, leaves are modified as spines. ठीक है, leaves are modified as spines. ये तो सभी को पता है और पढ़ा भी है हमने कि cactus में क्या हो रहा है. When you see a cactus like this, okay, you see structures like this. What are they? They are spines. Spines किसका modification है? Spines are the modification of leaves. ये भी याद रखना है. That spines are the modification of leaves. Directly यहाँ से question आ सकता है. Now, why are spines modified as leaves? Spines are modified as leaves to reduce loss of water. Okay, to reduce loss of water. Now, what is the need to reduce loss of water? Desert plant है, so definitely there is a scarcity of water in the desert. Desert में definitely there is going to be a scarcity of water. Now, पानी already कम है, and उसमें भी अगर by the process of transpiration water loss होता रहेगा, so how will the plants survive? So what the plants did, they came through a very smart technique. What they did, in order to overcome this, they modified their leaves as spine. उन्होंने क्या किया, जो leaves थे उन्होंने उनको spines के form में convert कर लिया. Now because they are converted as spines, तो loss of water by transpiration उसका rate बहुत कम हो गया. But because they converted into spines, they can no longer perform photosynthesis. Because they are converted into spines, they can no longer perform what? They can no longer perform photosynthesis. So, who will perform the photosynthesis? This you think? I think you must have seen the green colored structure in cactus, जो हमको दिखता है, जिसको हम sometimes leaf consider करते हैं. ये जो green color structure होता है, this is actually stem. Stem भी modified होता है. In cactus, stem is also modified to perform the function of photosynthesis. Okay, so what performs this function of photosynthesis in case of cactus? आप याद रखोगे, okay, that it is stem. Stem is responsible to carry out photosynthesis in desert plants such as cactus. Stem is modified to form a leaf-like structure. I hope the question is clear. This was a little tricky. Spines leaf का modification है, इसलिए spines यहाँ पे photosynthesis नहीं perform कर रहे हैं. Who is performing the photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is performed by stem. Okay. Okay. Next, after this, we have, as a result of photosynthesis, in which of the following is formed? When the photosynthesis takes place, which of the following is formed? carbon dioxide, glucose, oxygen, both A and B. Rhythmin, you can contact us on our number 8305103918. Okay. Oxygen. Okay. C you provided. Saki also provided C. But why only C? Oxygen, definitely oxygen is produced by the process of photosynthesis. But oxygen के साथ glucose भी तो produce हो रहा है. There are two products of photosynthesis. What are these two products? The two products are glucose plus oxygen. ठीक है? So glucose is produced. At the same time, what is produced? Oxygen is also produced. So there are two things that are produced over here, glucose as well as for oxygen. Okay, as a result of photosynthesis, glucose is formed and oxygen. Now glucose क्या है? You can just keep this one thing in mind, that plants synthesize food in which form? Plants synthesize food as, in which form they synthesize food? Food plant synthesize करते हैं in the form of glucose. But when we come to storage, so plants store the food. Store किस form में कर रहे हैं? Plants store the food as starch. So this you keep in mind, that the plants are like very smart. They know if they do not store the food prepared, then how are they going to survive in the harsh condition? So the plants are very smart. They are unlike us. So what they do, they synthesize the food in the form of glucose and then they store the food as starch. So this you keep in mind. And next after this we have got, what does presence of starch in a leaf indicates? किसी भी leaf में अगर आपने देखा कि आपको presence of starch मिला, presence of starch, first of all how do we detect it? You keep in mind we detect it with the help of iodine test. Potato पे हम generally iodine test perform करते हैं. How we do it? We take a slice of potato and that we add 2 to 3 drops of iodine. अगर वो within 4 to 5 minutes it get converted into blue black color or blue violet color, that indicates that it contains starch. That is like an ideal test we have for starch. But now the question is asking, what does presence of starch indicates in a leaf? So just like I told you that plants food कैसे synthesize करें? Plants food synthesize करें glucose के form में, वो store कर रहे हैं starch के form में. तो starch कैसे आएगा? Starch तब आएगा जब हमारे पास glucose होगा. Glucose कब आएगा? जब photosynthesis होगा. So the presence of starch in a leaf indicates occurrence of photosynthesis. Okay, the presence of starch in a leaf indicates what? The presence of starch in a leaf indicates that photosynthesis is taking place in that plant or in that particular leaf. And then we have got the next question and also the last question of the day. The question is, chemically what is starch? Starch का chemical nature क्या है? Is it a protein? Is it a fat? Is it an amino acid? Or is it a carbohydrate? No, Niyati, starch is not a fat. Starch is not a fat. No, Saket, Aradhya, Sudiksha answered correctly. What is starch? Starch is a carbohydrate. What is starch? Starch is a carbohydrate. Okay, this thing you keep clearly in mind. Starch क्या है? Starch is a carbohydrate. So chemically what is starch? Chemically starch is carbohydrate. Carbohydrate हम पढ़ते हैं, two types के होते हैं, simple sugar, complex carbohydrate. So starch is example of complex carbohydrate. So these were all the questions we had from plants for the today's session. Now before summing it up, anyone have any doubts in this? Just you can let me know the question number, we'll discuss that. Yes, now you remembered, Aradhya, starch is a carbohydrate. Okay? Yes. Okay, so I think mostly the things are clear to everyone. Okay, so now everyone, we will be summing up with this session. Next session we will have is tomorrow. Tomorrow is the date, 4th of April. Timing will stay same. We will have a session at 8:30 p.m. tomorrow. Okay, by the time you can get connected with me or with the Knowell Bell YouTube channel, तो आप YouTube channel subscribe कर सकते हो. At the same time आप Knowell Bell app पे भी connected हो सकते हो. Okay, just you can get connected on the Knowell Bell app for more preparation and as well as on our Telegram channel. सो टेलीग्राम चैनल पे अगर आपको कनेक्ट होना है, जस्ट वन थिंग यू हैव टू डू, दैट इज यू हैव टू सर्च माई नेम. ओके, वंस यू विल डू दैट, आपको नेम आ जाएगा अक्षता डहाके नोवेल बेल. दैट्स वेयर यू विल बी एबल टू कनेक्ट इट. ओके, यस, नंद किशोर. Okay, Niyati, when do we have these classes? Every day we have the classes from 8:30. Okay, every day we have the class at 8:30. So now we will be summing up the session. Bye everyone, good night, take care and good night.